What's happening, everybody? I'm Todd Tanner. This is Wrestling News Now. Let's get right down to it tonight. I'm talking about the one and only Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Leopoldo Francisco Sammartino. He was born on the 6th of October 1935. Passed away in 2018 on April 5th. He was an Italian-born American professional wrestler, best known for his work with the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, the WWF, now WWE. There he held the WWF World Heavyweight Championship during his second reign for more than 11 years, 4,040 days, across two reigns, the first of which is the longest single reign in the promotion's history at 2,803 days. He is overall a two-time world champion in professional wrestling. Exactly who was this great Italian wrestler? Dubbed the Italian strongman and the strongest man in the world. Early in his career, Sammartino later earned the title the Living Legend. Known for his powerful bear hug finishing move, he is widely regarded as the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Sammartino became a vocal critic of the drug use and rancier storylines that became prevalent in the professional wrestling industry after his retirement. But he reconciled with WWE in 2013 and headlined their Hall of Fame ceremony that year. Terry Funk commented that Sammartino was bigger than wrestling itself. Bruno Leopoldo Francisco Sammartino was born in, I'll just say he was born in Italy. Piezzel, Pesarato, Abruzzo, Italy, to Alfonso and Emilia Sammartino on October 6, 1935. He was the youngest of 7 children, 4 of whom died during his early childhood. When he was 4, his father immigrated to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania during World War II. His mother hid him and his siblings from German soldiers in a mountain called Valaraca. During this time, his mother would sneak into the German-occupied town for food and supplies. In 1950, she and the children joined her husband in Pittsburgh. When the Sammartinos arrived in the U.S., Bruno spoke no English and was sickly from the privations of the war years. This made him an easy target for bullies at Chenelly High School. He turned to weightlifting and wrestling to build himself up. His devotion to weightlifting early resulted in a berth on the 1956 U.S. Olympic team, which went instead to eventual gold medalist Paul Anderson. In 1959, Sammartino set a world record in the bench press with the lift of 256 kilograms or 565 pounds, done without elbow or wrist moves. When he brought the bar down, he did not bounce it off his chest, but set it there for seconds. Before attempting the press, he trained in wrestling with Rex Perry, the University of Pittsburgh team coach. He also became known for performing strongman stints in the Pittsburgh area, and sportscaster Bob Prince put him on his television show. It was there that he was spotted by local professional wrestling promoter Ruby Miller, who recruited the young man into the ring. Sammartino made his professional debut in Pittsburgh on December 17, 1959, pinning Dmitry Grabowski in 19 seconds. Sammartino's first match in Madison Square Garden in New York City was on June the 2nd, 1960, defeating Bill Curry in 5 minutes. Feeling like he was being held back in the New York territory in favor of the National Wrestling Alliance, or the NWA, star Buddy Rogers, Sammartino gave his notice to Capital Wrestling Corporation owner Vince McMahon Sr. and planned to go to San Francisco to work for Roy Shire. While on his way to California, he missed 2 bookings in Baltimore and Chicago, and as a result was suspended in those territories. California honored the other state's suspension, leaving Sammartino out of work. In his autobiography, Sammartino states that he believed McMahon set him up by double booking him and not informing him of his match in Baltimore as a way of punishment. Sammartino was forced to return to Pittsburgh and found work as a laborer. On the advice of wrestler Yukon Eric, Sammartino contacted Toronto performer Frank Tunney. Hoping to take advantage of Toronto's large Italian population, Sammartino made his Toronto debut in March 1962 and very quickly, with the help of self-promotion in local newspapers and radio programs, became an attraction. His ability to speak Italian also ingratiated him with that immigrant population. With whipper Billy Watson, Sammartino won his first professional championship in September 1962, the local version of the International Tag Team Championship. Soon he was in demand by other promoters in different Canadian territories. Sammartino also challenged NWA World Heavyweight Champion Lou Thesz twice for the championship in Canada. One match ended in a draw and the other in Thesz scoring a fluke pin after a collision, despite Sammartino controlling the 20-minute match from the beginning. This match was booked by NWA promoter Sam Mutnick as a preliminary to the forming of the WWF to ensure the dominance of the senior organization and its championship. After the first WWF World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, was hospitalized 3 times in April 1963 for chest pains, Vince McMahon Sr. and Toots Mott made a command decision to make an emergency title switch between Antonio Rocca and Bruno Sammartino. They went with the younger Sammartino, who was 28 years old at the time. The match was scheduled to be concluded quickly so as not to risk Buddy's health any further. Promoters Mott and McMahon Sr. cleared up Sammartino's suspension by paying his $500 fine, allowing him to return to wrestling in the United States. Sammartino won the title on May 17, 1963, defeating Rogers in 48 seconds. Sammartino and Rogers faced each other 2 months later at Madison Square Garden in a tag team match, with Rogers and Johnny Beren defeating Sammartino and Bobo Brazil. Check out the video that I did on the late Bobo Brazil. By 2 falls to 1. Rogers pinned Sammartino for the third and deciding fall. Rogers retired prior to their scheduled title match on October 4, 1963 in Jersey City, New Jersey, Roosevelt Stadium. Sammartino instead that night had his first match against new #1 contender Gorilla Monsoon. Because Monsoon won the match by disqualification, Sammartino retained his belt. On December 8, 1969, he teamed with Tony Morano to win the WWF International Tag Team Championship by defeating the Rising Suns, Tanaka and Mitsu Akawa. Company policy meant that Sammartino could not hold 2 championships simultaneously, so he was replaced by Victor Rivera. Sammartino held the WWF World Heavyweight Championship for 7 years, 8 months, and 1 day, or 2,803 days. On January 18, 1971, Sammartino lost the championship at Madison Square Garden to Ivan Koloff. Sammartino recalled the shocked silence that greeted the result, remarking the thought that he had damaged his ears. Later that year, he won the International Tag Team Championship for the 2nd time by teaming with Dominique DeNucci. Sammartino took a hiatus from the company in 1971 and 1972, working in Japan and various territories. To be continued. In the next profile of Bruno Sammartino, without a doubt, the greatest champion of his era, probably of all time. Till next time, I'm Todd Tanner.